I'm your host, Cornell Cruz Jr., and we're here with Dr. Mary Kinirons. She's the executive director for the Heart Gallery of Broward, and we're talking adoption, giving us some very, very interesting facts about adoption. And again, I come from being adopted myself, so she's really talking something that's very near and dear to my heart. So, as we were talking about the parents, I want to on this portion. I would love to focus on the children. Um, is there a larger percentage of those that decide to cycle out of foster care rather than be adopted? And part two of that question is, do kids, in particular teenagers, get to make that decision?
So they do get to make a decision as to whether or not they consent to adoption at the age of 13 and older. As for it,
That young?
yes, yeah. And then as for whether or not they are going to age out at 16, they can make that decision if they want to be removed from the adoption pool. So most often it's the 16 and up that we'll see make that choice, because by then they've been in foster care so long, they just don't think that anyone's going to want them anyways. And they want to start going through the programs that will prepare them for that next stage of adulthood.
So does the Heart Gallery of Broward provide those programs for those folks those teenagers that decide that they want to just age out?
So once they decide that path, they're no longer in our care. They connect with places like the Flight Center, who is specifically there to help youth who've aged out of care. And there's other agencies as well that they get support from Flight Center to have these programs in our county. We have some of the best programs in our county in the state, and other
Really?
counties are modeling after what has happened here in our county.
So, for instance, in your case, you had a teen. Was the oldest one? Was she at the age that she could decide whether to age out or not?
Yes, she actually did technically age out because we didn't adopt her till after she was 18.
Gotcha. But she had siblings,
Yes.
and they were younger. They were below the age to make that decision. Correct?
Yeah, they were below that age. So she got really lucky in that not only could she make the decision, but there were four other families other than us that were interviewing for them. And then they actually met with her and reviewed the families, and she got to choose which family she wanted to do, which is very rare. Very
Okay, I
rare.
was just about to ask that
Yeah.
question. How often does that happen that she gets to choose, or
Yeah.
that the child gets to choose which family, right?
Yeah.
So if that rarely happens, what was the difference this time? If there's something is that policy, or is that law, or how does that dynamic work? What caused that? What was the change that made this one particularly so special?
The guardian ad litem. They had a very strong guardian ad litem that advocated for them. And she was about ready to remove herself from the adoption option because her brothers are so young. She felt, you know what, they could get adopted a lot easier without me. So she was very close to that. But they did do a segment of them on the news through Forever Family, which is a huge partner of ours. And that segment on the news is what helped bring the influx of families in. So again, she was about ready. And if those interviews didn't go well, she was probably going to go that route.
So it's interesting that you said she had a very strong guardian ad litem, and I see in post the trainings for the guardian ad litems and stuff like that. We do that. We post that constantly. How important is that for the guardian ad litem? I'm sorry.
I do it too. Don't worry.
How important is it for them to be as strong as the one that you dealt with?
It's very important. They are these advocates for these kids. The attorneys carry so many cases that even if they have an attorney ad litem, it's very hard for them to be a full advocate. The guardian ad litems are what make sure they get the help and care they need. They're the ones that they trust if they're having an issue with a family to talk to them about that issue with the family. And then the guardian ad litem can bring it to one of the staffing meetings, say, I don't think this family is appropriate. Here's why. And I've been talking to them. I've been visiting them in person. So I wish every single one of our kids had a guardian ad litem, but sadly, that is an area that needs more volunteers, and not all the kids have guardian ad litems.
Okay, so if they don't have a guardian ad litem, Who's their advocate? Who speaks? Who gets to speak for them?
Usually their case manager.
And I'm assuming that's DCF.
Yeah, ChildNet here. They're
Okay.
DCF privatized, so every county has an agency that
Okay,
is
yeah, I
funded
remember.
by DCF.
Yeah, I completely forgot that DCF privatized. Shouldn't be surprised, but I completely forgot about that. So, is it more? Is it a greater percentage of more than one child that it's available to be adopted, or is it more single children?
Usually it's more single children. There are youth that actually get separated intentionally from their siblings. For whatever reason, their trauma make it so that they aren't healthy to be in the same home. So we do have some sibling groups that are adopted individually because of that.
I mean, you hear stories and you see stuff in movies about the siblings being separated, and it just amazes me that would even need to happen. But I think you just to show you how ignorant I was about it. You just hit on the fact that maybe it's not good for them to be together. Is it because the trauma that's been inflicted on them could be different at different levels?
Yes. Sometimes what happened maybe happened to only one of the siblings, or they both experienced different things, or they have different viewpoints on what happened and can have arguments or disagreements about, no, I think they did a great job, and the others like, don't you recognize they did this, this, and this? So sometimes it's hard for those differing opinions to be in the same household. But there is differences too, is sometimes siblings are separated because DCF has only taken one child away, and the other one was maybe with a family member and weren't taken away, but they're still seeing the biological family. So sometimes they're just separated that way, is they were able to do the termination for one child a lot faster than the other child, and they can get separated that way as well.
You said something earlier about the families, the adoptees or the children's family may still be involved, and they may still the children may decide that they still want to see family members and things of that nature, even though they've been adopted by another family. Is it difficult to work that bridge?
It can be, yes. I do know of one adoptive family that adopted through us, and they want to be still in contact with their grandparents and a sister that they were adopted separately from. And usually when she comes back from those visits, she's more aggressive. She's definitely much more negative to be around, and it takes her a while to settle back down. But she wants to go visit them, so the family does their best to give her the support and hope she suddenly sees, this maybe is not the most healthy for me, but they're giving her the space to figure that out for herself.
Well, I'm sure that's got to be difficult for her. I'm really sad to hear that. And the family, the adoptive family, can see the change in her when she comes back from those visits, right?
Yep.
Wow, that's got to be hard. So you mentioned that you work with other partners in our community. So what are some of the other partners that you work with in the community?
We have a lot of other partners, but our key is Kids in Distress. They have one of the only adoptee therapy programs that are funded by ChildNet in the county. JAFCO, which works a lot with our Jewish population of our youth. We work with Flight Center when it comes to, they've helped us with like a teen support group that we trialed. We work with, I'm sorry, I'm spacing on some of it.
No,
For Kids, for any families that maybe are more religiously affiliated that want to become foster and adoptive families. We work with their families as well with our We Care program, which is the name of our program that helps these families be successful, and a few others. But they're our main ones is JAFCO, For Kids, and Kids in Distress.
So it's Heart Gallery of Broward. So I got to assume you're centered in Broward County, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
we are centered in Broward County.
Are there other organizations in Dade and across South Florida that do similar work to you?
Yes. So Heart Gallery is a national movement.
Oh, okay.
And because DCF is decentralized here, there's different Heart Galleries in a lot of the counties.
Okay.
So Miami has a Heart Gallery. Palm Beach has a Heart Gallery. We adopted through the Heart Gallery of Tampa is how we found our kids. So a lot of the counties have their own heart galleries, and we collaborate together.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Do
Yeah.
you collaborate and partner? Because you said you went to Tampa. So is that so? If I don't, if I was a prospective parent and I didn't see anyone that I wanted to adopt here,
Hmm.
you would actually connect me with other organizations throughout the state, perhaps.
Yeah, so what I did when I was looking at youth available for adoption, I was on every single Heart Gallery site once a
Wow.
week. Once a week, I was on every single one. The more challenging thing that's really affecting us in our family recruitment is last year they actually passed a bill that makes it so youth can no longer be shown publicly. And now each Heart Gallery has to have a registration process. So now, as a family, you're going to have to register for about 16 websites if you want to see all the ones available for adoption in our county. There is a centralized agency through DCF, but from what I understand, it's very difficult to navigate. Not always updated, doesn't always have the greatest of pictures. That's why most people go to Heart Galleries, is because they get the most accurate information. So that has been offering a big challenge with our family recruitment efforts.
Has there been any? I'm sure there have, but I got to ask it anyway. Are there been any big challenges to your program, um, especially along with state laws and policies?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of advocacy work. I've been meeting with the representative who spearheaded the bill. I've been meeting with other agencies. We started a think tank to start seeing, well, how can we meet in the middle? How can we help these youth be represented in a safe way? I fully understand the purpose of the bill and the intent, the safety of our youth. The hard part is without that public representation, it's hard to convince a family to go register for 16 sites. They may register for 2, or they may go out of state because all those photos are live and available in every other state. So we've been doing a lot of advocacy work, and we're hoping we can work with them on doing maybe alternative forms of representation. So maybe having an artwork of the youth, the way they can express themselves to have public with their bio, maybe de-identified photos so you can't see their face, but you can get an idea of the child a little bit. Something they've created or something we hire an artist for. So that's part of what we're talking with the state about is, can we find a way to meet in the middle of, we're still protecting our kids, but we're giving the families the information that they might be inspired to actually register for your website and continue the recruitment efforts.
Well, I definitely wish you luck with the advocacy. Anything we can do to help, please, by all means, feel free to reach out. Um, I think that sometimes government can be a little overzealous and especially when you got people making decisions who don't know anything about adoption, who's not
Yeah.
going through it like you. Because I think your story is so interesting that you went through the process and then you become the executive director of the Heart Gallery of Broward, doing the very thing that you did for yourself to fulfill yourself. Correct.
Yeah.
I think that's so admirable, and thank you, Dr. Kinirons. I think that's a really cool thing to do, and thank you for all you do as far as the organization is concerned. My last question: I gave you all the power in the world. What would you do with it?
I would eliminate the stigma about adoption from foster care. The reality is, there's so many. If you wanted to make one wish and power, no matter the power in the world, families are going to fail. You can't stop them from taking drugs. You can't stop the substance abuse. That's going to be a mental health issue for years to come. No power in the world can really stop that. But to work towards a world without stigma about adopting from foster care, that's something you can do through education and outreach. And the power to do that at a nationwide, worldwide way could be transformative for these youth.
I'm going to snap my fingers, do the Mr. Gazoo thing, and give you all that power so we can get rid of that stigma. I think that because I look at it as I was adopted as a baby and was never in that foster care,
Mm-hmm.
but I realized, that I could have been. I was, it was like a 50-50 coin flip whether it was going to happen or not. And to see kids go through that, they're growing up, they're now stigmatized for something that's not anyone's fault really,
Yep.
but especially not the kids' fault. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They had nothing to do with those circumstances. You know, ding, ding, ding. I just gave you the power, so hopefully we can make that happen. So, Dr. Kinirons, before we leave, please give us your contact information and how we can reach out.
Our website is heartgalleryofbroward.org. If you want to reach out to me directly, it's Mary at heartgalleryofbroward.org. And our phone number is 954-918-3008.
Thank you. This has been another great Just Economy podcast. We've been enlightened and educated here today about adopting foster care children. If you are thinking about adopting, please reach out to Dr. Mary Kinirons from the Heart Gallery of Broward. Let's help every kid because every kid needs to be helped. I look forward to talking with you and working with you soon. Anything we can do as far as the Community Reinvestment Alliance of Florida, please feel free to reach out any way we can help. And thanks again for viewing another Just Economy podcast. We'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.